A burial structure has just reemerged from the Euphrates riverbed in Iraq, and it matches something no one thought we'd ever find: the tomb of the giant king Gilgamesh. But now, something even stranger is happening. Google's quantum AI may be decoding its secrets before we even open the tomb. For the first time in history, one of the world's most advanced quantum computers is being hypothetically used to analyze buried ancient data. And the burial site may point directly to the legendary Gilgamesh. The receding waters of the Euphrates River have revealed archaeological treasures that have been hidden for millennia, and among them could be the final resting place of a king once thought to be merely a myth. What we're witnessing is an unprecedented convergence of cutting-edge technology and ancient history, quantum computing potentially unlocking secrets from over 4,600 years ago. And the implications could completely transform our understanding of one of humanity's oldest stories. Quantum AI meets a 4,600-year-old tomb. What exactly is Google's quantum AI, and why is it potentially being applied to an ancient tomb? In 2019, Google's Sycamore quantum processor achieved what scientists call quantum supremacy, completing a calculation in 200 seconds that would take even the world's fastest supercomputer thousands of years. This wasn't just a technical milestone. It was the beginning of a computing revolution that's now reaching into unexpected fields, including archaeology. Unlike traditional computers that process information in bits, either 0 or 1, quantum computers use qubits that can exist in multiple states simultaneously. This allows them to analyze massive data sets and recognize patterns that would be invisible to conventional systems. For a site like the suspected Gilgamesh tomb, quantum computing offers groundbreaking possibilities. It could process thousands of magnetometer readings simultaneously, creating detailed 3D models of what lies beneath the sand without disturbing a single artifact. It could simulate how the Euphrates River has shifted over millennia, confirming whether this structure truly aligns with the location described in the Epic of Gilgamesh. The structure discovered in 2003 by German archaeologists at Uruk is particularly compelling. Using magnetometers, they detected a large rectangular anomaly beneath an ancient riverbed, exactly matching the epic's description of Gilgamesh being buried under the diverted Euphrates. Dr. Georg Fassbinder, who led the research, noted the eerie alignment with the ancient text. So, why would Google care about a 4,000-year-old burial under the Euphrates? Well, imagine a computer that doesn't just calculate faster. It can simulate every possible way a river might have shifted or reconstruct a tomb from scattered magnetic fields. That's what quantum AI can do. And Uruk might be its next test case. But what's actually inside the structure? That's where this gets weird. If you're into stories that blend ancient myth and cutting-edge tech, hit subscribe and like. We've got even deeper revelations coming up about what quantum technology might reveal without ever opening this mysterious tomb. Could Gilgamesh's DNA still be there? If this structure truly contains the remains of Gilgamesh, we might be looking at one of the most extraordinary genetic discoveries in archaeological history. Ancient DNA recovery has come a long way in recent years. From Neanderthals to Egyptian mummies, scientists have successfully extracted genetic material from remains thousands of years old. But Gilgamesh would be different, dating back nearly 4,600 years in challenging preservation conditions. This is where quantum computing could truly revolutionize archaeological genetics. Traditional DNA sequencing struggles with highly degraded samples, but quantum-enhanced AI algorithms could potentially rebuild fragmented DNA sequences by predicting the most likely arrangements of damaged base pairs, similar to how AI currently reconstructs damaged cuneiform texts. If remains were found in a sealed sarcophagus under the riverbed, where oxygen levels are low, preservation might be better than expected. The ancient Sumerians also used various preservation techniques for important individuals, potentially including oils and resins that might have helped preserve genetic material. What makes this possibility truly groundbreaking is what we could learn by comparing this DNA to other samples. We already have genetic profiles from the royal tombs dating just a few centuries after Gilgamesh's reign. Cross-referencing with these samples and modern Iraqi populations could tell us about his lineage and physical traits. Here's a thought. What if quantum AI could reconstruct Gilgamesh's genetic profile from ancient remains? And it turns out he really was different. Not divine, not Nephilim, but a biologically elite human. That would change everything we thought we knew about early kingship. And that's just scratching the surface, because this tomb, if it really is a tomb, might not be alone. A secret complex under the river. What if the rectangular structure potentially containing Gilgamesh isn't just a tomb, but part of something much larger and more complex? Recent analysis suggests we might be looking at an entire subterranean complex. The magnetometer survey that first detected the tomb-like structure in 2003 also revealed something equally fascinating: an intricate network of canals, streets, and architectural features surrounding it. Dr. Fassbinder described ancient Uruk as a Venice in the desert, with waterways connecting different parts of the city. This is where AI and advanced imaging technologies truly shine. Similar technology has already revolutionized archaeology in other regions. In 2022, AI analysis of LiDAR scans revealed over 60,000 previously unknown Maya structures hidden in the Yucatan jungle. The same principles could be applied to the area surrounding the potential Gilgamesh tomb. Quantum computing could take this analysis to an unprecedented level by processing multiple layers of data simultaneously: magnetometry readings, ground-penetrating radar, satellite imagery, and historical texts. Quantum AI could potentially match subterranean anomalies to known Sumerian architectural patterns described in ancient tablets. Take a look at this magnetogram. This rectangular structure sits not in isolation, but within a network of ancient urban design. Could we be looking at not just a tomb, but the underworld gate described in the epic? What do you think? Was this just a tomb or part of something bigger? Let us know in the comments before we reveal what researchers are starting to believe, because there's one more layer that could rewrite everything. Cuneiform tablets and AI decoding prophecy. Beyond the physical remains and architectural structures, there's another treasure trove that quantum AI could help decode: the thousands of cuneiform tablets that remain untranslated or incomplete. Cuneiform is one of humanity's earliest writing systems, with over 500,000 tablets recovered from Mesopotamia. Yet many remain undeciphered due to damage, fragmentation, or the complexity of the script itself. These clay tablets potentially hold crucial information about Gilgamesh and burial practices in ancient Uruk. In 2022, AI systems made a breakthrough in this field. DeepMind's Ithaca AI demonstrated an extraordinary ability to restore missing text in ancient inscriptions and help date them. Quantum natural language processing could take this capability to another level, analyzing patterns across thousands of tablets simultaneously to reconstruct damaged texts with unprecedented accuracy. Some partially translated tablets already contain tantalizing references that might relate to royal burials. Fragments mention a great king being sealed beneath what translates poetically as the lifeblood of the gods, a possible reference to the Euphrates River. Other texts describe elaborate rituals for preparing a royal body and the specific treasures that should accompany it to the afterlife. These aren't mystical prophecies. They're likely practical records of actual burial customs for Mesopotamian royalty. The challenge has been connecting these fragmented accounts to physical archaeological sites. Here's where it gets eerie. Some cuneiform fragments, barely legible, describe a king sealed beneath the blood of the earth and surrounded by gifts for the gods. It could be poetry, or it could be the burial blueprint we've been looking for. But how does all this connect back to Gilgamesh, the myth and the man? Who is Gilgamesh? The king, the legend, the giant. To understand why this discovery is so groundbreaking, we need to understand who Gilgamesh actually was, separating the historical figure from the myth that's endured for over 4 millennia. According to the Sumerian king list, a historical document recording early rulers, Gilgamesh was the 5th king of Uruk around 2700 BC. This firmly places him as a real historical figure, not just a mythical character. The king list even attributes to him a reign of 126 years, a symbolic number that reflects his legendary status. The Epic of Gilgamesh, humanity's oldest surviving written story, describes him as 2/3 divine and 1/3 human, a king of extraordinary strength and stature. Archaeological inscriptions credit him with building Uruk's massive city walls, which have been confirmed by excavations. So while later tales may have exaggerated his height and abilities, they were built around a core of historical truth. In the epic, Gilgamesh begins as an arrogant, restless ruler who oppresses his people. After befriending the wild man Enkidu, he embarks on heroic quests, slaying monsters, defying gods, and eventually confronting his own mortality. After his friend Enkidu dies, Gilgamesh searches for immortality. But ultimately, he accepts the human condition, that we live on through our deeds and legacies. The epic's final sections describe Gilgamesh's death and burial in a way that perfectly matches what archaeologists might have found. It says that when he died, the Euphrates River was temporarily diverted, allowing his people to build a tomb in the dry riverbed. Then the waters were allowed to flow over the burial, sealing it for eternity. This unusual burial practice, interring a king under a riverbed, would have been an extraordinary engineering feat for the time. It also explains why this particular rectangular structure, found in what was once the Euphrates riverbed, has generated such excitement. If this is indeed Gilgamesh's tomb, it represents the perfect convergence of myth and archaeological reality. Mesopotamian artwork depicts Gilgamesh as larger than an ordinary man, grappling with lions and displaying feats of strength. While folklore claimed he stood 17 foot tall, this is almost certainly symbolic exaggeration. But even as a normal-sized king, his legacy has grown to truly giant proportions. 2003 Discovery and the Forgotten Tomb. The story of how this potential tomb was discovered is almost as remarkable as the tomb itself and explains why we're only now beginning to understand its significance. In 2003, a team of German archaeologists led by Dr. Jörg Fassbinder from the Bavarian Department of Historical Monuments made a stunning announcement. While conducting a geophysical survey at the site of ancient Uruk in southern Iraq, their magnetometers detected something unusual, a large rectangular structure buried in what was clearly an ancient dry riverbed. Using sensitive equipment that measures minute differences in soil magnetization, they created a detailed map of the buried city. The magnetometer readings revealed not just this anomalous structure, but the entire urban layout of Uruk hidden beneath the sand, streets, garden plots, and an extensive canal system that made the ancient city like Venice in the desert, as Dr. Fassbinder described it. What made this rectangular structure particularly intriguing was its precise location, directly in the middle of what satellite mapping confirmed was once a channel of the Euphrates River. Dr. Fassbinder himself noted the uncanny alignment with the Epic of Gilgamesh. We found just outside the city an area in the middle of the former Euphrates River, the remains of such a building which could be interpreted as a burial. While cautious in his assessment, he acknowledged the possibility. I don't want to say definitely it was the grave of King Gilgamesh, but it looks very similar to that described in the epic. Unfortunately, this discovery coincided with the beginning of the Iraq War in 2003. The region around Uruk became inaccessible, and plans to excavate were put on hold indefinitely. By the time limited archaeological work resumed in the 2010s, focus had shifted to other parts of the site. For almost 2 decades, this potentially revolutionary discovery has remained largely unexplored, a footnote in archaeological journals rather than the sensation it deserved to be. The structure still lies there, waiting beneath the sand. But now we may finally have the technology to investigate it without even breaking ground. Future of quantum archaeology. What we're witnessing with the potential Gilgamesh tomb is just the beginning of a revolution in how we explore the ancient world. The convergence of quantum computing and archaeology is creating an entirely new field, one that might be called quantum archaeology. Traditional archaeology has always been limited by the need to physically excavate sites, a process that's slow, expensive, and inevitably destructive. Even the most careful dig alters the context of what's being studied. But quantum sensing technology is changing that fundamental equation. In 2022, British scientists demonstrated a portable quantum gravity sensor that could detect underground tunnels by measuring tiny variations in Earth's gravitational field. This technology can identify subterranean structures without disturbing a single grain of sand. Applied to sites like Uruk, it could map entire buried complexes with unprecedented precision. When combined with AI analysis, the possibilities become even more extraordinary. Machine learning algorithms can identify patterns across vast datasets, connecting fragmentary evidence from texts, artwork, and sensor readings to reconstruct what ancient structures might have looked like. Within the next decade, archaeologists might be able to create complete digital maps of buried cities before excavating a single trench. They could virtually walk through these reconstructions, identifying the most promising locations for targeted exploration. For the Gilgamesh tomb, this could mean creating a full 3D model of the burial chamber and its contents, predicting what artifacts might lie inside based on known Sumerian burial practices and the specific descriptions in the Epic of Gilgamesh. We're at the edge of something strange, where computers are reaching back in time further than we ever imagined. Gilgamesh once sought immortality. What if it turns out he achieved it not through magic, but through memory, rediscovered by machines? The quest for immortality that drives the Epic of Gilgamesh may have failed for the king himself, but through these technological breakthroughs, his story, and perhaps even his physical remains, might achieve a kind of digital immortality he never could have imagined. Whether or not this rectangular structure beneath the ancient Euphrates riverbed turns out to be the tomb of Gilgamesh, the convergence of quantum technology and archaeology has already changed how we approach the distant past. For centuries, the Epic of Gilgamesh was considered primarily a work of fiction, a mythological tale with perhaps some kernel of historical truth. The discovery of a potential tomb that matches the epic's description has already shifted that perception, suggesting the ancient text may be more historically accurate than we previously believed. This represents a broader pattern in archaeology. Sites and figures once dismissed as purely legendary, like Troy or the Hittite capital of Hattusa, have been discovered through persistent investigation and technological innovation. The line between myth and history continues to blur as our tools for discovery become more sophisticated. The drying of the Euphrates, while environmentally concerning, has become an unexpected ally in this quest for knowledge. As water levels recede, they're revealing archaeological treasures that have been hidden for millennia: Byzantine cemeteries in Syria, the Hasankeyf Castle in Turkey, and potentially the tomb of one of history's most legendary kings. These discoveries come at a pivotal moment for Iraq, a country whose cultural heritage has suffered tremendously through decades of conflict. The potential rediscovery of Gilgamesh, a figure who belongs not just to Iraq, but to world literature, could become a powerful symbol of cultural renaissance and renewal. What began as a German archaeological survey in 2003 has evolved into something much more profound, a testament to how cutting-edge technology can illuminate our most ancient stories. Google's quantum AI represents just one example of how the most advanced tools of our era can help us understand the very beginnings of civilization. The story of Gilgamesh continues to resonate because it addresses the most fundamental human concerns: friendship, legacy, mortality, and the search for meaning. His quest for immortality failed, but through his story, preserved for over 4,000 years and now potentially confirmed by quantum technology, he achieved a kind of immortality. After all, as the Euphrates continues to reveal its secrets, and as quantum computing advances, we may be on the verge of rewriting not just the story of Gilgamesh, but our understanding of how civilization itself began. If you found the story as mind-blowing as we did, hit subscribe. We're just getting started with what quantum tech is uncovering beneath ancient sands. Let us know in the comments what ancient mystery you'd like to see quantum archaeology tackle next.